And welcome back to the Crypto Hulk program. And today we're going over securities finance, everybody. Wow, Crypto Hulk, this show sure is changing. I've only told you like 2 years ago or more, this show will evolve. As crypto evolves, so does this program. That's how it works, kids. Stay relevant or go home, right? So we're going to get into the world of trade finance very briefly. And I wanted to show you how crypto is integrating into the world trade system. All around the world, we're going to have tokenized securities lending and trade, all kinds of stuff like that. The way we get rich is from what I'm going to be going over today, part of it. It isn't just about you and me. This is for the brokies that just showed up to Crypto Hulk and they know nothing at all except how to watch 5 or 10 minute programs. What I'm going to be showing you today okay, so if you got a membership, let me put my social media address in here at the Crypto Hulk 2025 is my Instagram. Let me give the X address. Oh, by the way, if you want that Seals coin, we finally got it at Caleb and Brown. Quait, Q-A-I-T. It's at Caleb and Brown. Okay, that's how you get a hold of me right there. All right, so my name's Crypto Hulk, not a financial advisor, not a crypto advisor, none of the above. I don't know anything about crypto. I don't know anything about financial advice. Each day I will snort 5 metric tons of cocaine and heroin both, as well as 3,000 pounds of ecstasy. Don't believe anything on this program. Everything's a lie. And let's see, what else? Yeah, don't even listen to any kind of financial advice I give. That'll be the worst thing in the world. Okay. Stephen Morris is back at it again. Not a big deal. Crypto Hulk. Oh my gosh. He's like not even doing 20 metric tons yet. What the hell, man? First I thought it was 5 metric tons. Oh. I saw that Chris Sharpie, what does Chris Sharpie have to say? He sees that Michael Saylor's on the verge of being sued. Because MicroStrategy has lost $11 billion. Everybody, okay. I've been telling you for years now, Michael Saylor was the biggest loser 26 years ago when we had the dot-com boom and the dot-com bust. Michael Saylor lost like he was like the $6 billion man. Michael Saylor back in 2000 lost more money, his company or him or whatever he was attached to, let's put it like that. All things attached to Michael Saylor back in 2020 went to zero. He lost, he put it, look what he's doing right here with this. Michael Saylor has been a train wreck for 26 years. I was showing you guys this. I've been telling you this for like at least 4 years now, maybe 5. Okay. Showing you the evidence, showing you the article. Yes, Michael Saylor. That's why I said suicide hotline. Someone give him that phone number. Okay. I've been telling you that for years. Iron Sheik ZBCN just took out a $7,000 loan Any suggestions? Yeah, get a $200 Crypto Hulk membership and we'll talk. Best $200 you'll ever spend in your entire life. Welfare, I got it set up to where if you're literally on public assistance, you can afford Crypto Hulk monthly memberships. I made it to where I can't go any lower than that. You got people out there charging $1,000, $1,500 a month for just what I'm doing here. $2,000 a month. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm trying to make sure everybody gets rich, but dude, I can't go any lower than 200. That's just, it will not happen. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Let's go ahead and start with the show. But yeah, you can literally be on be on welfare and afford Crypto Hulk channel and information. Copy and paste. Right chair. We got Yen Silver R. Welcome to Crypto Hulk Millionaires. Oh, nice. Really, it's the best. Here's Anthony Morano. Nice iron. I'm high, so don't listen to me, but maybe toss Hulk 200 of that and let him give you a hand. Stevie ZBCN says, it's well worth it. Hulk will put you on the right path. It'd be the smartest thing. I'm telling you what, these guys come in. One guy, I think the most he's got is $4,000. Like, he's never bought crypto at all. He's got $4,000. Yeah, I think, yeah. And I was talking to him the other day. I'm not going to say about what, because he wanted to spend the 200. And I said, that's a brilliant move right there. Because with your little $4,000 and you're investing and we invest, I'm going to blow by you on what you can do with that $4,000. Because I already know what you're going to do. I already know. I'm not going to say it right here, but I already know what he was going to do. And I said, we're going to do this. And he was like, oh, never thought of that one. Yeah. All right. Aave, what do we got going on here? Everybody, the biggest of the big. El Gigante. Sabado Gigante. El Sabado Gigante. Pendejo. Crypto Hulk, is that the only word you learn is pendejo? No, maricon. What do you think? All right. Aave is a company, and they're aiming to rebuild securities finance on version 4. Oh, my God. Everybody, all the investment houses of the world, Wall Street, oh, my God, they're all getting into crypto, everybody. Look, I'm not caring what the prices are. I don't. What I care about is, can I get cheap crypto? Yes. Can I buy some? When I can. And I just keep going. When this day happens, when we get rich, is when that day happens. I got some guy calling me the other day, all stressed out and shit. Like, it's, I don't want to get into all this stuff, but that's what you have Crypto Hulk for, to help you look at things. See, it's your perspective. I've been doing this for 6 years. I'm not discouraged at all. I got to deal with these assholes at YouTube, okay? Fucking with the channel all the time for 6 fucking years. These stupid twinkle dicks. Aave Labs, a software technology firm launched in 2020, has announced it plans to rebuild, here we go, competition for XDC crypto. We'll see. Crypto Hulk, will this put XDC out of business? I'm not saying right now. Why don't you listen to the show and you'll figure it out. Spend some time. Spend some time in crypto. Don't try to time the crypto, okay? That's the biggest problem newbies have, is they're trying to time the market when you should spend time in the market. I don't time this market at all. I don't try to time it to where I do this, and at this point, no, man, just fuck it. I spend all my time learning about crypto and buying crypto. I'm not here to flip, sell, whatever. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just telling you what I do. You do what you do, and I'll do what I do. How about that? Aave Labs is a growing technology firm, a software technology firm launched in 2020. It has announced plans to rebuild. You seeing all this? They're going to rebuild securities finance via Aave version 4. Forward. Bringing this market on chain. Aave version 4 is a lending protocol. Oh, they're lending. That's exactly what XDC does. Now, XDC was designed like, 12, 13, 14 years ago with that kind of technology. This is brand new technology. Just saying. Don't sell your XDC on account of me. Aave version 4 is a lending protocol. It's designed to expand Aave's lending capabilities and establish the foundation for lending market structure for all finance. Oh, they're trying to take, that means trade finance? Wait a second. Isn't XDC in charge of trade finance? Yeah, with its 2013 technology, yes, it is. Remember, they didn't have AI back then and all the stuff we got now. Okay, let's keep going. Aave version 4 is a lending protocol designed to expand Aave's lending capabilities. Oh. And establish the foundation. Aave wants to become the foundation. For lending market structure for all finance, including that which XDC is in control of. Looks like we've got some trouble in paradise, don't we? Aave was first launched on the Ethereum mainnet, a primary production-ready blockchain network on the 30th of March. CEO of Aave Labs said, securities-backed lending and securities lending is a large opportunity to remove inefficiencies from TradeFi. They're going to start removing things. Aave proved efficient cost structure for on-chain lending on crypto-backed assets. And now it's time to expand to all assets. Everybody, are you seeing what's happening? Crypto is coming into the finance world. This is how we become rich. Now, we're not going to understand the world of trade finance here at an hour show. And that's for show. What I'm going to do today is just touch on basically what's going on. I don't want to understand all this. I don't. Really. I don't care. What I want to do is just kind of get an understanding of what's happening and how fucking rich I'm going to get. That's pretty much where I'm at, okay? According to the firm, Aave, securities finance has been waiting for a settlement and collateral layer that can function without a stack of intermediaries. It's like one-stop shop, right? You want to have the Home Depot, Corvette World, Costco, Ethan Allen Home Furnishing, all this shit under one roof. I don't want to have to drive to 10 different stores. I don't want to have to go to the Lamborghini store again this week. Version 4, Aave version 4 hosts securities-backed lending, repo, and securities lending on one architecture. Whether that is a single deep hub or a mesh of category and risk hubs that spokes route across with the liquidity, the stablecoin, the cash leg, and the institutional pipeline already live. A hub is a deep pool of capital, and spokes are the modular venues, i.e. markets that plug into it. Securities is one of the largest markets. You need to understand this. Just briefly understand. I know it's a little, This isn't my world, okay? I'm not an investment guru. But we're just going to touch on what the hell all this securities finance shit is, okay? We want at least a little bit of an understanding because we want to walk away from Crypto Hulk Show knowing more about securities finance than whiskey. And by the way, that whiskey smoker worked well. I like it, okay? Now let's continue. He highlights that securities lending counted separately keeps roughly about $5 trillion of assets on loan and generates $15 billion revenue. Almost none of this activity touches a blockchain today, which presents an opportunity. The plumbing finally gets an upgrade. The value flows to the people who own the assets. Everybody, we need to own these assets, okay? Crypto assets. This is the market Aave can capture. All right, let me check my comment section, and then we're going to go into the deep dive with this article. We're going to ask AI more about this article. I believe Aave Financial was hacked back in the day, says Stephen Morris. Stuart Lavelle says, I must say, crypto investors are the dumbest investors I've ever seen. I have to agree. It's embarrassing, yet I find it funny in some peculiar way. Peculiar. Yeah, Chris Sharpie's like, yeah, I'd be pissed if I had to go back to the Lambo store more than twice in a week. I know, once a week is good enough for me. All right, now let's dig into this. What we want to do with Crypto Hulk channel is branch out and just kind of understand what we got going on in the world with crypto. Again, I'm not going to give a breakdown on how exactly trade finance. I'm not going to be a stockbroker. I don't care. I want a general idea on how the securities world will change. Just a general idea. So that, yeah, I can explain to people. That's good enough. Let's continue. So, Aave Labs is on a strategic push to bring multi-trillion-dollar securities finance markets into crypto. Aave is trying to bring traditional finance into crypto. That's how we get rich. When we take all that shit that's on the DTCC, the almost $5 quadrillion a year, when you tokenize that and put it on a blockchain, that's how we get rich, okay? I'm trying to break this down. Not because you and me are buying a crypto and it goes up and you sell it and make your $1,000 or $5,000. That's not going to do shit, okay? That's like what they call fun money, okay? Can that buy you a house? No. No, it can't. I'm talking about trying to make 5 or 10 million, not 5 or 10,000 bucks. You have a different one guy who's a $200 member a while back called me up and said, what's your exit point on like Canton and shit? And I said, what? He told me this. He's like, yeah, he must be watching these other channels. So he comes up and he's like, yeah, when are you going to sell off your Canton? When it hits like 5 cents or 10 cents? I'm like, what? Or what? Maybe it was like 30 because Canton's already 15. I think he said, when are you selling all your Canton? When it really has it, when we have a bull run and it hits like 45 cents? I'm like, let me try to understand. You're asking me when I'm going to sell my Canton. You mean like all of it for 45 cents? He's like, yeah. He's like, is that your trigger point? I'm like, dude, do you not like, what do you think I'm trying to make? $4,500 or something? Like, I need to get a fucking house that's worth $1.5 million. I'll tell you what, if I sold anything off, I need like $2 million. I need to buy a $1.5 million house in the suburbs of Sacramento, and then I need to buy a Porsche Turbo GT. That's going to run me like $212,000. So I'm going to need about at least $1.75 million. Then I want $250,000 so I can go on a Ritz-Carlton cruise and have some fucking fun. So I'm going to need $2 million, dude. And he's like, oh, so that's what you're trying to get. I said, what? You're trying to get $4,500 for $10,000? So I'm like, dude, what? Don't you even pay attention to my program? Like, I'm not here for $10,000 or $30,000. That's not going to do shit for me. Shit, I'm trying to get our houses and cars. You're trying to get like some fun money shit, dude. Like, that's not what my channel is about. You need to go watch somebody else. I don't want to mention names of these brokey channels or something. Like, I'm not going to say run guys or nothing, but you need to go watch some kind of fucking jacked up, shitty ass YouTube program. But I'm trying to make like millions over here, dude. Like, he's like, oh, I just didn't know what targets you were shooting for. Well, it ain't going to be like $10,000 or $30,000. That's not going to do shit for me. All right, let's continue. Blast from the past. So, Aave Labs' strategic push to bring multi-trillion-dollar securities markets, securities-backed lending, repo, securities lending, on-chain via their new Aave version 4. This represents a deliberate evolution from crypto-native DeFi lending into core. We're going into the core traditional finance infrastructure, leveraging modular architecture and tokenized real-world assets. Everybody, I'm not here to pump dump a coin. I don't even fucking care. If you want to pump dump and whatever, make a little money, okay, that's all good, man, but that's not like what I'm here for. Yeah, I don't mind picking up $1,000 here, $3,000 there. That's all good, but that's not even a big deal to me. That's like not even, I won't even blink at that. What we're talking about here is taking trillions of dollars that are in traditional finance, putting them on a blockchain. The process is called tokenization. These cryptos we got, Rise token, Canton, Liquid Mercury, these products are trying to take the DTCC. Those three cryptos there are going to take almost $5 quadrillion a year and then bam, put them on a blockchain. And you're trying to sell off a Rise token to make a few thousand? Like, that's... You just lost out on $3 million. I mean, my channel, you've got to watch my channel. You got to understand what we got going on here. This is not a channel to try to make $3,000 or $500 on a crypto. That's you got to go to another channel for that. Okay. Something where they're all in, like one of these all-inclusive channels where they don't care who you are. You could be a fucking midget or something. There's a place for you, but it's not here. Okay, let's continue. This is an investor's channel. People that want aggressive advice. This is what we got here. Information. Stani, Stani Kulekov. Stani Kulekov. Sounds like a hitman for the Russian mafia. Is the founder and CEO of Aave Labs. He launched ETH lending in 2017 before evolving it into Aave protocol. The protocol itself is governed by the Aave DAO, DAO. Sounds like a little Japanese rock band or something. Let's see. I'm just cherry picking this thing. Aave is the largest. Oh, here we go. Hoo-wee, coming in hot. Aave is the largest decentralized lending protocol by market share and cumulative volume, which is trillions processed. Aave is designed to support all finance, not just crypto assets. Aave's narrative positions it, this is what Grok is saying, Aave's narrative positions it as the liquidity and settlement layer, upgrading plumbing for asset owners in traditional finance markets. Aave, again, is trying to take the whole TradeFi, traditional finance, the old school way of doing shit, and putting it right on top of a blockchain. That's how you make millions, okay? Crypto Hulk, what makes the crypto go up? When you're doing what Aave is doing, when you're taking all this finance that's going on, this trading, and putting it on a blockchain, that's how you get rich, everybody. When you understand that, like, I'm not concerned that I can't just start making all this money with crypto. I'm watching what is happening, and I just have to wait for all the technology to get plugged in. It's not a matter of if I get rich, it's when. And what I tell myself, it'll happen when these people get all plugged in. That's when it happens. I'm not frustrated. I'm not mad. I'm not impatient because I understand what I'm doing. People that get frustrated, they don't understand. All they want to do is they probably have 50 brain cells total in their life. You got 50 brain cells, and I probably got 50 trillion. And what you're trying to do is take 10 of those brain cells, watch a crypto show for 5 minutes to be rich, and you don't want to lift up a finger because you're just so clampong. Your dick is just so heavy that you can't move, okay? I'm like, wow. Use case of the crypto. Let me scan this. Securities finance and tokenization. Institutions supply tokenized securities as collateral to borrow stable coins without selling the underlying asset. Okay. I've got lots of tokenized securities, but I need to borrow some stable coins, but I don't want to have to sell my crypto. Okay, it's like this. I've got some crypto. I want to buy a Lambo with some stable coins, but I don't have stable coins, but I got a lot of crypto. I can borrow. This is why it's called trade financing. I can borrow some of my crypto to put as collateral to get stable coins so I can buy the Lambo. Okay, that's what is going on here. And then, because I know I can pay off that Lambo in about 3 months or maybe 15 days, whatever. I'm just giving an example of how these businesses do it. So they get the lowest interest rate possible because it's a collateralized loan. So it's not like I'm going in there saying, yeah, I need $500,000 for a new Lamborghini. I'm going, hey, I've got $100 million in crypto. Here's $500,000 of collateral. I want a collateralized loan. Give it to me in the Ripple Labs USD, please. And then they shoot to my wallet, which will be in my phone. Then I go to the Lambo dealer and go buy the Lambo because I know I'm getting whatever it is. I'm gonna make a shit ton of money in 2 months, and then I can pay that car off. And that's what's basically going on here. But instead of me borrowing $500,000 for a Lambo, these businesses are probably going to borrow $15 billion because they've got to do a restructuring project and whatever. That's what we got going on. All right. Aave evolved from ETH Lend in 2017, and it turned into a dominant DeFi lending primitive. That's what it says. Aave Labs has driven product expansion into stablecoins and institutional real-world assets. Let's look at their blockchain tech stack. It's a hub and spoke model. Tokenization, they're using ERC 4626. They're not mentioning. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, now the collaboration. Who are the partners? We're going to talk about a crypto right here. Let me find it on. Now, okay, we know that Ethereum doesn't work. So you've got to have all these bridges and everybody else to get Ethereum to work. Let me show you right here. And this is my number 2 crypto that's on my phone. Here is who is helping Aave. This crypto is 20 cents right now. It's actually a deal. Everything's a deal right now, actually. Centrifuge. Oh, shit. Right there. Tracy 101. Thank you very much for that. Contact me on my social media. And you get Crypto Hulk on the phone, and we will blaze through. Make sure your portfolio is set up perfectly. Up, yo, a penny. All right. Now, the collaboration. Who is helping Aave with their version 4? Right here, Circle. And, oh, looky here, Centrifuge. Now, I'm not going to do a deep dive on Centrifuge. Securitize. Now, what does Securitize do? They tokenize real-world assets for Ondo, for BlackRock. So BlackRock has Ondo, and then which is a crypto, and then BlackRock is also using Axelar as a bridge, indirectly, but nonetheless, Axelar is a Ripple partner. So you got Securitize in the middle. On the right side, you got Axelar as a bridge, which is Ripple Tech. And on the left side, you got Ondo helping BlackRock, okay? So Securitize is all mixed up in all that. Then you got Van Act. I've got to copy this. I'm going to show you who these partners are here. This will be successful. This Aave version 4, it's going to be a success because I'm going to show you right now. It ends with risk partners. Hold on a minute there, buddy. Copy. Okay. So I gave it to you in 2 parts. Look right there. Okay, Crypto Hulk, why do you think this Aave version 4 is going to be successful? Because of these partnerships right here. That's why I say this will be successful. You've got Circle. There you go. I mean, that's massive right there. Then you got Super State. But look right here. Centrifuge. That's my number 2 crypto on my phone. Then you got Securitize. I mean, they're helping BlackRock. I mean, that just says it right there. Securitize. We got Van Act. We got a company called Wisdom Tree. I believe they're Ripple partners, but check this out. Do you know who's a partner of Aave version 4? Ripple. Oh, shit, Crypto Hulk. Ripple, right there. I copy pasted. You can see it for yourself. Ripple's involved. That's how I know this Aave version 4 project will be successful. Look at these partners we got. Hamilton Lane, Ethena Labs. We got Kayo, for crying out loud. We got Open Eden, Ant Technologies. That's the Chinese. Remember Ripple China? This thing is so good to go. You got Chainlink providing oracles. There you go. Let me cherry pick this thing. Aave is targeting the core plumbing of securities finance. Aave is targeting the core plumbing of securities finance. They're going after repos, securities lending, and securities-backed loans. Markets that used to be dominated by banks, broker-dealers, hedge funds, and asset managers. Oh my God. They're going after the jugular vein in securities finance. This Aave company is going to come in and fucking take over, okay? You got Ripple as their partner. You got Securities, on and on. When Ripple gets involved with something, they ain't losing. They're not losing. Whatever Ripple touches turns to gold, like King Midas. Social media, summary assistant. Now, Aave has something called Horizon. Aave Horizon is Aave Labs' dedicated permission lending market. So Horizon is a market, like a store. It allows qualified institutions to borrow stable coins against tokenized real-world assets. So Aave Horizon is a store, and a big multi-billion-dollar company will go into the store, put down collateral, get a stablecoin loan, and then leave and do what they do, and then they pay back the loan eventually. Okay, that's basically what's going on. Now, when they come in with collateral, they're using real-world asset tokens, okay, crypto. In the old days, you'd have to bring paperwork and show that's all stamped, and it's a laborious project. Laborious is another key word for today, class. We're trying to expand our vocabulary on the Crypto Hulk Show. I don't know where these words come from. So that's basically it in a nutshell, what they're doing over there. They're basically taking the whole world of securities lending and turning it into blockchain, crypto. That's pretty much what's happening. They're turning all the assets into real world assets. So houses, cars, maybe somebody has a home loan. You could turn that into crypto, and then so that is what's occurring here with Aave version 4. They got the best people working on this trade, this securities finance lending. Very good. Now, let me look. I asked Grok. Let me find my question. Okay, Grok, will this affect XDC or R3 Corda? So I want to know, is Aave going to take over XDC and R3 Corda's job? Because that's what they do. Part of what they do. Let's see. Aave's move to rebuild securities finance on-chain with version 4 targets, listen to this, if you got XDC, it targets the same multi-trillion-dollar institutional tokenization that XDC network and R3 Corda have pursued for years. They're going after the same market as R3 Corda, as XDC. They're going after the same market. But we've got 2026 technology, not 2013. A lot of shit happened in 13 years, folks. What was great, I'm not going to say XDC and R3 Corda were great back in 2013. They were good. Because if they were so great, Ripple and R3 Corda wouldn't have split. So let's continue. I'm not making no judgment. This is like Planet Fitness, no judgment zone. Or is that Crunch Fitness? Whatever. XDC network. The project involves enterprise-grade public blockchain infrastructure tailored for trade finance and tokenization. So this project with Aave is going after securities finance, securities loans. XDC and R3 are for trade finance. Kind of the same area. There's probably some overlapping areas. I think what Aave is going to do is chop off some of the business, not the core business, not the core business of XDC, but they're gonna take the peripheral area and just kind of take, that part, because XDC is good at what it does, but they were trying to kind of take the whole market area in that area, but this is going to take the peripheral only, not the core XDC stuff, just the outside peripheral stuff. R3 Corda is a software company behind the Corda platform. It has deep roots in financial services and works with major banks and major infrastructures. R3 Corda's leadership has driven production deployment of tokenized assets across regulated networks rather than public DeFi narratives. Aave is for public DeFi, not R3 Corda XDC. That's a difference. They're going after some different markets, okay? Now, both XDC. So what I'm doing here is I'm helping you understand what does Corda do? What is Aave doing? Aave is kind of coming in and specializing in a certain area. They're not trying to take XDC's business. They want to take the securities lending business, okay? Like that, securities trade. They're not going after specifically XDC R3 Corda's area. They got their own specialty, public DeFi lending with securities, okay? It's very targeted. Both XDC and Corda operate in tokenization. That's what they both share, tokenization. They both have real-world assets with institutional distributed ledger technology. That Aave is kind of shifting. Aave is shifting, explicitly targeting what? Traditional finance media coverage. So, XDC heavily focused on trade finance. So Aave is making a push into their, I think what was happening before is you got XDC and you got Aave, okay? And they were both kind of fighting for shit in the middle, all right? So rather than both of them fight over areas that they're really not good at, Aave is now specializing in what it is good at, okay? So it's not going to fight the core of XDC, it's going to take the fringe, the peripherals, the outside areas that XDC is really not efficient at. It's just taking that business where it's not really a big deal to XDC, okay? And then XDC can take some of the peripheral area of Aave that Aave is not really focusing on. So it's kind of like a wash. It's like nobody wins, nobody loses. In fact, each of their businesses probably grow a little bit bigger. Aave takes a little bit off of XDC's plate, then XDC takes some off the Aave plate. So they both win. It's a win-win. Let's call it that. Okay. Aave version 4, it went from permissioned. So here's the thing. Aave version 4 went from being a permissioned to a public liquidity layer for borrowing stablecoins against tokenized real-world assets. Now, XDC is best for trade finance tokenization, supply chain finance, commodity tokenization, and institutional settlements. This is like different than Aave, okay? It's similar, but different. Different targets, all right? It's dealing with finance, but different areas. Now, R3 Corda is a privacy-preserving, legally enforceable, distributed ledger technology for tokenized securities issuance, bonds, repo. It's a little different, okay? It's all in the area of finance, but there's specific. Each of these companies are now focusing on what they're good at. They're not trying to get all the business now. They're kind of closing in. They're closing in and only working on what are they really good at, okay? That's what I'm seeing here. And that means taking some of your competitors' business, but then they're also taking some of yours that you're not good at. So all three, so this is what I'm saying. All three enable institutions to use tokenized assets more efficiently. So that's what's happening. Aave is going to focus on lending and liquidity. XDC is going to focus on trade finance and issuance. And then Corda, the platform, is going to focus on regulated securities market infrastructure. So now they're becoming really polarized into just doing what they're really, really good at, okay? You ever heard that phrase, a jack of all trades, but a master of none? In this case, these cryptos are going to stop trying to be a jack of all trades and just be a master of one. That's what I'm seeing here. Let's see. Let's look at some of the red flags here. For XDC, XDC has, for those of you that still own XDC, XDC has strong tokenized value growth, but faces competition from both public DeFi liquidity layers like Aave and other enterprise chains. The success of you guys that hold XDC, the success depends on continued institutional and validator growth. XDC has to keep growing and growing and growing, or it's going to die. Let's look at Canton, 600 validators. Let's look at XDC, what, 300? So according to Grok, success for XDC, it's got to keep getting more and more validators. And it has to have more and more trade finance volume. Now, R3 Corda, Grok says, is dominant in real-world assets, but the move to Solana shows recognition that institutions want access to public chain liquidity So before, R3 Corda didn't have a platform with much liquidity, and they had to join up with Solana to get better. If Aave captures meaningful securities lending and repo volume on Ethereum, it could slow pure play adoption of alternative chains. So nothing really right now to be afraid of if you have XDC at all. XDC may see increased interest in its real-world asset and trade finance capability, but could face competitive pressure on lending, liquidity, and primitives if institutions prefer Aave's composable Ethereum liquidity. Oh, there could be trouble in paradise, okay, for XDC. Okay, to wrap it up, institutions will use Aave-style liquidity layers alongside specialized platforms like XDC, which is trade finance and real-world asset issuance, and Corda, which does permissioned market infrastructure. Now, interoperability, bridges, and collateral composability between these ecosystems represent the higher probability opportunity than outright displacement. Aave accelerates the narrative without fundamentally undermining XDC or Corda. So right now, Grok is saying they're not really going against each other. They're more focusing on what they do well, but XDC and Corda could face some issues down the road if they don't keep growing like Aave is. So there's that. You just got to keep an eye on it. Stay tuned to Crypto Hulk Show. And of course, I'll be talking about, because some of you guys still own XDC, and I can't tell you whether you should or not. That's up to you. But at least you know what's going on with all this. Okay, I think we'll call it a wrap. We're in this thing at 52 minutes. That's good enough. So today we learned a little bit about trade finance and how if you're a big company, you're going to have real world assets that are tokenized. You're going to go someplace, put some of those tokenized assets down. This is called securities finance. I'm going to take securities that I have, like stocks in Lamborghini or whatever it is, and all this stuff. I'm going to take my real world assets of the stocks on a token, send it, or have a custodian hold it. Then I'm going to get a loan, securities finance. So I'm trying to show you today what we've just learned if you just came in. You're going to then get that loan, and then in a week or a month, 3 months, I'll have that loan paid back. That's called securities lending, okay? So that's what the real world does. Instead of me selling my crypto stocks or whatever, I can just get a short-term loan and then pay it back. So that's kind of what we learned today. We just briefly touched on securities lending today. I wanted you guys, some of you get it, some of you don't. That's fine. You don't have to get it. But some of you, I feel it's important to understand, why are we investing in Centrifuge? Why do we invest in Canton, which does a finance kind of like what we're talking about today? Why are we talking about XDC, R3 Corda, these different cryptos or platforms? We're discussing them so some of you can be able to understand what you are investing in. I want some of you to see what is happening in the world of trade finance. I don't live in that world. All I want to do is take a peek behind the curtain, see what's going on, basically, and then shut the curtain. That's all I want to do. So today I think we've accomplished that. And for the rest of y'all, I'll see y'all on my next one.